What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are in our Miami Dolphins online user franchise, and today we are going to be looking at the stats and awards across the league for every position, pretty much every conference, and see if we landed anything halfway decent. I imagine we'll have some awards, the big one being MVP, even though it's only 1250 XP, would be the one that we're kind of looking at the most. I don't know if we have it. This is literally like shortly after the league actually, well, after our match, the league actually advanced like really quickly afterwards because we kind of played near, the deadline. But obviously a 15-2 season, if you didn't watch it start to finish, I recommend it. It was a hell of a season. I thought it was pretty good. Tua finishes basically the best quarterback, one of the best players in the entire league. And we got some dev ups for some players I wasn't expecting, like Fuller being from star to superstar X Factor. Very shocking, and he probably did well enough to maybe even get to, there was another dev up after that. He would have got to that as well, so really good season there. But first things first, let us quickly look over how our regular season finished. Obviously, looking at the regular season, a lot of 40 points in there, a lot of games. You had a couple of forced games, like 2 to be fair, which, fair enough. It happens. It is what it is. But looking at the stats now, that's what I want to see the most. Let's take a look at the standings first. So I believe Toxic did finish undefeated. He did. Our division here, the AFC East, obviously 15-2, 14-3, not bad representation there at all. Then you have the Browns at 14-3, Rams at 13-4, same with the Seahawks, Giants and Packers at 12-5, not bad. And then you have 4 teams at 11-6, Steelers, Titans, Chargers, Jags, Washington at 10-7, Eagles at 10-7. The Bears at 10-7, 9-8 for the Cowboys. Chiefs 8-9. Kind of lost a couple of users in there. It's very hard to play sim with that team. Tyreek Hill is such a burner. So is Mecole Hardman. Then you have Holmes is sick. It's very tough, and we've had issues with that. 8-9, 8-9, 7-10, 7-10. Ravens at 6-11. Jets at 5-12. Same with the Cardinals and Niners. Niners gives us pick 8. The Falcons at 4-13, same with the Patriots and Buccaneers. Broncos at 3-14, Raiders at 2-15, Vikings at 2-15, and then the Texans at 1 win, 16 losses. Let's take a look at the stats and awards now. The stats first, obviously, with Tua finishing number 1 in touchdowns, 8th in yards. Definitely could have broken the touchdown record in a season if we wanted to. Or did we? Is it 54 or 55? I actually don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was. I thought it was 55 to tie. Yeah, it is. So it's 55 to tie. That's what I thought. 55 touchdowns. A couple of other teams with close to that, obviously. But we could have easily broken it. Chose not to. I mean, I don't really. It is what it is. Tua looking like a freaking god. Actually, how much is the XP for? Just wait a minute. Hold up here. What's the record? Is there a record? Game? Is it only just game? What about season? Wait, season. Oh, I got it anyways. Oh, that's kind of cool. So as long as you tie it, you get. Wait, what? That's not the passing yard record. It's like 5,400 yards, I thought, isn't it? Career passing yard record 1. Wait, is it all just glitched? It just says 1. So does everyone get that XP out the gate? 1? Or is that just like one time? I don't know, dude. Whatever. But obviously, Tua with an insane season. Just under 5,000 yards. 55 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. Yards per average of 12.2. Passer rating of 133.4. Just under 300 yards a game. Almost to 70% completion percentage. Sacked 11 times. Played 732 downs. The longest of the season was 83 yards. And then Elijah Mitchell, 1248. So 2 yards off of 1250. 18 touchdowns. I actually don't know where that ranks him. I wasn't really even thinking about getting an Elijah Mitchell a dev up, but now that I think about it, it's actually massive. So if he can get to superstar, that'll be clutch. Puka Williams, we really should have just had him as the only number 2. We actually gave the ball to a lot of different running backs, like Ahmed, and it is Ahmed. Gaskin got a couple of carries. If it would have went all to Puka, I mean, he would have looked pretty damn sick at like 750 yards rushing, but we gave the ball to a lot of players. Gesicki, after last game, got to double-digit touchdowns, 1340 for yards. Will Fuller, 19 touchdowns, 1406 for yards. Waddle, 1120 yards, 17 touchdowns. Bowden, he got involved early in the season, and he kind of just disappeared. I mean, he's by far the worst receiving option out of the 3, technically 4 if you count Mitchell. And, we just didn't get the ball to him too much. Hunter Long had a couple of plays, I suppose. I mean, it is what it is. Blocking, who gave it the most sacks? I mean, not really anyone. I mean, honestly, do we maybe even think about keeping Russell Okung? Who knows? Defensively, this is some of the numbers I want to see. John Franklin Myers, same with Phillips, stays at 9.5. It would have been nice to see him get to double digits, but they didn't. Ogbo was injured all season, so I don't expect him to do anything. 5 for Wilkins, 4 for Ginkle, 3 for Baker and Stevens, 2 for Houston, who had to play for Ogba quite a bit, and he was awful in his time. Baker with 9 picks, 8 for Jones, Howard, and other Jones, Byron. 3 for Stevens. Would have loved to see him do better, and he wasn't really in as much, and I just usered Baker and whoever really needed the help the most. Holland at 3, Noah Igbenogany, who was out for half the season. He didn't even play that many downs. He played 527 downs. Where is the other guy, Coleman? How many snaps did he play? 413 for a guy that should have been number 4 or 5 on the roster. Played way too many snaps, but it is what it is. Deflections, I think that matters for DevUps, but I don't think any of our guys would have gotten enough to get one. 4 forced fumbles, 5 for Stevens, 4 for Jones, 3 for the Ginkler, 2 for Baker, 2 for Myers, 2 for Wilkins. I mean, some pretty good numbers there, actually. Did we have many touchdowns? We had 4 defensive touchdowns, and it looks like 2 probably were fumble recovery touchdowns, right? So not bad, though. It's still a pretty good season. Sanders had 1 extra point blocked, and we probably just missed one on our own. We did. We also missed a field goal. I don't remember that at all. Townsend, fair enough. And then Jakeem, he had a really good season returning, but obviously not as much as that first game. The very first game, he literally had 2 kick return touchdowns and then none for the rest of the year. Punt returns, really not a whole lot of punts, to be honest. We usually took the ball away or gave up a touchdown, which, I mean, is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. Quick look at the yards. So we were number 4 in offensive yards, total yards. Not that it really changes much. We were number 2. Passing yards, we were number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Rushing yards, we were number 5. Not bad. Points per game, we had the most by a sliver, not by a whole lot, but 40-plus points per game. 58 passing touchdowns to 26 rushing, which put us at 9 or so. The most first downs, not even close. So we had a lot of big plays this season. The first down category, we must have been putting up a lot of big plays. Defense, we were the number 1 defense in the league for total yardage. We were the least amount allowed for passing, yardage. It helps having a good user. It helps having 2 god-tier corners. Rushing, we were number 5, which is surprising because, this front 7 isn't crazy great. We obviously went out and got John Franklin Myers. He was pretty damn good for us. Sack totals, we were the 4th best sacking team. Not bad. And we were number 1 in fumble recoveries and number 7 or 8 in interceptions. Not bad at all. Conversion rate, we were the 2nd best team on 3rd down. Don't talk to me on 4th down. We were literally the worst in the league. 2-point conversion. I don't even remember doing a 2-point conversion. Did I even try one? We must have. We had 2 of them. 2 attempts, 50-50. Oh, yeah, we literally had one just last game. Did we even try one? Red zone efficiency. The Falcons at 4-13, the number 1 best red zone team. And then the Lions at 7-10 were number 2. We were at number 3. What about red zone defensive trips? 43 of them. We allowed 24 touchdowns. Look at how many... that's good. To allow... we took away, 13 scoring opportunities in the red zone. In Madden, that should be guaranteed. Where do we have the most? The Vikings at 109. 109. Where are our freaking penalties? We're at number 10 or so. Who had the most yardage? The Vikings almost 1,000. Oh my god, that is absolutely nuts. Turnover differential 36. Very good stuff there. And that's pretty much it for the total stats. Let's take a quick look at the league ratings. There's a lot of interceptions we're gonna probably see in a moment here. Number 1 in yards is Russell Wilson. That broke the yardage record, I believe, with 48 touchdowns, 38 picks. A couple of guys in the 5,000. Dak. Trevor Lawrence, Drew Lock was pretty much sim all season. Ryan Tannehill, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Tua, Derek Carr, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts. Josh Allen had a really good year, too. Might have had a chance at MVP himself. Very close to, I'd say, maybe 3 or 4. Justin Fields, a lot of interceptions, as you can see. Tons and tons of interceptions. And that's why I'm so proud of the numbers we put up. Sam Darnold, really good stuff, too. Patrick Mahomes, meh, considering it's Patrick Mahomes. A lot of backup numbers in here as well. Cole McDonald, where is he? The God, 3 interceptions. What a beast. Number 1 in touchdowns for us. Lawrence at 54, Tannehill at 53, 48, 48, 47, 45, 45, 45, 44. Who had the least amount of interceptions as a starter? Was it actually Josh Allen? Bortles doesn't count. Kirk Cousins, I suppose, but he was an AI a lot of the year. Ian Book, we don't want to talk about. Completion percentages. Number 1 in the league was Dak Prescott at a 71%. Mahomes at 70. 69 for Darnold. 68 for Allen and Tua and Rodgers. Fair enough for those numbers. Who had the most yards per game? Russell Wilson, 333. Passer rating, best passer rating in the league was Allen, Darnold, and Tua. You can kind of see that's the trend for those 3. Yards per attempt. Allen with 12.6. Stafford with 12.3. Tannehill with 12.3. Darnold with 12.3. 12.2 there. The longest throw of the season was apparently 100 yards. Okay, fair enough. The most sacks. Kirk Cousins with 60. How is he even alive? And he only played 16 games. That's a lot of downs. 16 games played, 982 downs. I don't feel bad anymore. My numbers don't look bad at all. Look at the downs comparison. I mean, where's Tua? Tua's barely even a starter at this rate if you compare it. He's literally like the 5th lowest. Yeah, Tua and Josh Allen had themselves some years. I suppose Darnold's not too much higher. Those 3 absolutely crushed it. Rushing numbers. The most attempts goes to Aaron Jones with 265. Michael Carter at number 2. I don't really care too much about the attempts, but yards. Christian McCaffrey, 23 touchdowns, 1776 for yards. Maybe he did win MVP. That's a lot of numbers. Where's Mitchell? There's Mitchell. I don't know what his touchdowns were, but just outside the top 4 for yards. Thank you. He's number 3 for touchdowns. Definitely, well, not definitely, but probably superstar, which is clutch because it's a lot of teams and a lot of players at 17. Please tell me he did it. Yards per carry definitely took a hit with the 3 or 4 week span that Mitchell was injured. He would have actually had a chance at maybe MVP if he wasn't, not injured, but fatigued. He was fatigued for ages. 7.7 for McCaffrey. Ballage 7.3. Kareem Hunt 6.9. Kamara at 6.8. A couple of backups in here, obviously. Not really like the craziest yards per carry for a user league, which I kind of like. Glad that we kind of got those under control. The most catches in the league goes to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe our tight end wouldn't get a dev up. I don't know. It's not really looking super great there for catches. Yards, Metcalf, number 1. It's a pretty glitchy player in Madden. I don't know what it is. You just throw it up and he just catches it. CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Chark, Duvernay, Cooper, Ingram, some decent players. Pretty much the main thing is most of these players are pretty damn fast. Looking at the touchdowns now, McMath with 20 touchdowns, Will Fuller with 19, Waddle with 17. And yeah, I'm not really feeling too great about this whole tight end thing we got going on here. As far as tight ends go, our guy would have been number 6. As far as yards go, he would have been number 1, 2, 3. So he would have gotten a dev up based on yards, but I don't once again think that it works. Madden's stuff just sucks. And as far as yards per catch goes, I mean, Gesicki, or yards after the catch goes, Gesicki with 74 receptions put up almost 500 yards after the catch. I mean, you compare him to all these other guys, the big thing is that he is much slower outside of maybe Hawkinson. That Jacob Harris guy is literally 92 speed or something. It's kind of crazy. Metcalf, of course, with a 100-yarder. Fair enough for all that. Blocking, I kind of always like to see this. Darisaw with 23 sacks allowed. Sheesh. That was a freaking ton. Defensively, tackles. Baker was actually kind of up there. Where was he? He's 100-something. 110? That's not terrible. It's not going to get a dev up, but still. Brian Burns with 22 sacks. Khalil Mack with 15. Watt with 13.5. Some decent numbers there, but not crazy sack totals. Not crazy. Interceptions. Paulson with 12. It's a lot of interceptions. Some pretty good numbers here, obviously. Looking at kicking, anyone at 100. I see Will Lutz there. Lambo and Zerline. So Will Lutz and Lambo probably kicker of the year, but I suppose our guy did have way more attempts than Lambo, so you never know. Not that it really matters too much anyways. Punting, who had the best average per punt. Young Ho Koo, the punter, of course. That's interesting. Townsend, where's our Townsend? Was he trash? Yeah, not really that great. Kick return yardage. Jakeem Grant, the second most for yards. The number one most for, guys that actually got a lot of attempts. And then most for the touchdown. So really good stuff there. Yardage-wise, Debo at number 1. So punting, I didn't really see too many punter numbers. But here it is. Do we get player of the week or anything like that? We never get a player of the week. Stupid-ass, old-ass Kelvin Benjamin. But here it is. The yearly awards. Did we get MVP? I'm going to be honest. After seeing those numbers from McCaffrey, I don't think so. But we'll see. MVP goes to Christian McCaffrey. If the MVP XP was actually insane, I would have actually been really mad by that, but since it's not, oh well. Of course, Mitchell at number 6, Tua at number 2. You see that Josh Allen was number 3, like we said. Darnold at number 4. Kind of expected numbers. They really, really put in a lot of effort into making sure that you don't just get it for putting up a ton of yards and touchdowns. As a quarterback, at least, the turnovers actually matter. So there's a good chance that, not many quarterbacks win MVP for us in this league because it's very easy to get touchdowns to like receivers and running backs, and throwing a lot of picks with your quarterback loses it. I'd say if Tua had 5 interceptions or whatever, he wins it by a landslide. But since he had 16 picks, they're like, hey, you watch yourself, pal. You're not looking so hot there. But Mitchell, yeah, a lot better of a season than I would have thought. Let's take a look at the NFC side now. Let's go over to the AFC side again. Micah Hyde for Defensive Player of the Year for the AFC side. Baker was actually all the way up number 5. A little surprised by that. And then for the NFC side, Jamin Davis. Really? Brian Burns had like 22 sacks, no? Interesting. Interceptions, takeaways seem to be very highly weighted. Justin Fields wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. And I believe for us, and it might actually be Mitchell, and it is 15-2. Mitchell with the MVP award over quarterbacks. Very impressive stuff there. Touchdowns mean a lot. Dylan Moses, Rookie of the Year on defense, so he gets a little bit back off of losing Trevor Lawrence to Mitchell. Jamin Davis also Rookie of the Year. Obviously, if you win Defensive Player of the Year, obviously you're going to win Rookie of the Year. Best quarterback, Darnold, Jalen Hurts, Wilson, and Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, all that stuff as you would expect it to go. 2 of the best quarterback, Josh Allen right behind, Mayfield at 3, Mahomes, all of that goodness. Running back, Elijah Mitchell, best running back in general. Didn't think I was going to get that, but that's pretty nice. Christian McCaffrey on the other side. Best wide receiver, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, all of that. What about us on the wide receiver list? Oh, it's going to start doing this, isn't it? And McMath actually steals best wide receiver from Fuller right at the end, that 20th touchdown or whatever. A lot of touchdowns there. Just barely passed us up on Fuller. Not that I really care. Our guy has X Factor. Looking at Best O-Line on the other side. Best O-Line is just kind of like a stupid award. Did not mean to do that. Thank you. D-line, Brian Burns. Obviously, J.J. Watt. Now, this is a little bit more realistic. A lot of the names are names you'd expect to be up there. D-line on this side. Carl Lawson, fair enough. John Franklin Myers and Phillips at 5 and 6. We'll take it. Maybe Pro Bowlers. That'd be clutch. Baker at 3. Those that last game there, definitely moving up the list quite a bit. Khalil Mack, best linebacker over Jamin. Jamin won Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. That's a little surprising. Paulson Edebo. Is it Adebo or Edebo? I don't know. Number 1 on the other side. AFC-wise, were we on the list? We were not. And then best kicker, Lambo, the 100% kicker. Sanders, blah, blah, blah. Looking at the NFC side, Zerline and Will Lutz, as we expected. But those are the stats and awards for the entire league. No upgrade points. Maybe we'll have one next week for training or whatever. But looks like there's a good chance it's going to be against Lance and the Jaguars. Obviously, the Browns do have a pretty good roster, so you never know. But let's take a look at the playoff picture. Who plays who? Does it not show? Oh, it does show. So the Browns versus the Jags, the Titans versus the Steelers, the Chargers versus the Bills, and then on the NFC side, the Rams versus the Eagles, the Packers versus Washington, and the Giants versus Seattle. If I'm going to make my picks, I haven't really seen the Browns play. I'm going to give a Jags Titans, Bills. And then on the NFC side, I suppose Rams, Packers, Seahawks. Those are my picks, and that's pretty much it. We'll take a look next week, hopefully not forget, and see if we were correct or not. But anyways, that was the stats and awards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Was Tua snubbed, or was he not snubbed? I suppose we didn't actually look at Christian McCaffrey's receiving numbers, but we'll take a quick look real quick. That's what a quick look means. Thanks for explaining it to everyone. 685 yards, 5 touchdowns. Pretty good season. Like, 2,400 total, just under 30 touchdowns. I don't know, maybe. But anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, JeromepkR. Second channel, PK Plays, and then twitch.tv/JeromepkR for streams. That's about it. Hopefully you guys check out the next video, which, for this series, you gotta, right? Like, you pretty much have to. It's the freaking playoffs, okay? Are we a one and done? Are we a go all the way type of team? Who knows? Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you come back for next video. But until next video,